Hi there. In this quick video, I'm going to show you how BuildSync reviews lighting fixture submittals. The reason I'm doing this is because I haven't met anyone to date who actually enjoys reviewing these submittals. So to use the software, it's pretty simple. We're just going to come through to buildsync.ai. We're going to log in the top right-hand corner here, and that is going to show us the projects that we have set up on the software. To add a new project, we simply hit Add Project, and we can then click on the project, and that will directly take us through to adding our plans and specs into BuildSync. We can just hit this button here, Upload Design File, should we want to upload plans and specs. Once we've done that, we can then come through and add our submittals into BuildSync. To add submittals, we just click this button here, Upload Submittals. And once we've uploaded the submittal, BuildSync is immediately going to start to go to work to process that submittals. So the first thing that BuildSync does is it will break down the submittal to a product level. So as we can see here, we have 13 different products on this submittal. Once that process is done, BuildSync is then going to break down the technical characteristics of those products. So we can see here, the left-hand side, that's what BuildSync has pulled off the submittal itself. Middle of the screen is our design characteristic or our design requirements, essentially what our plans and specs are calling for. BuildSync has then made its determination. Does this fail? Is this potentially unknown, needs more clarification? Or is this a pass, meaning it's all good, this meets plans and specs? Now we can see the text that appeared on the plans and specs and the submittal at any time by hitting See Text. BuildSync will also produce any notes giving us contextual understanding as to why it has failed a particular characteristic. So BuildSync has stated here that the frosted polycarbonate lens of 75R has not been selected. So let's just check that out. Let's just see what our original files say. So by hitting See Files, what we're immediately going to pull up, on the left-hand side, we can see BuildSync is showing us the original copy of the submittal itself. Now we can see, in this case, our vendor or maybe our subcontractor has actually made some selections for us. But what BuildSync is highlighting is BuildSync is stating the luminaire schedule on 1E-002 states frosted lens for SK4. And we can see that has not been made as a selection. So what we're going to do, just to check that out, we can go next door to our plans. Could be our specs, but in this case it's our plans. We can navigate through to SK4 and we can check this out. So what does it say? Yes, we can see here that the frosted lens has specifically been called out. So that doesn't meet plans and specs. So the downstream of this is if this gets through to the GC you're working with, or if this gets through to the design team you're working with, they're likely going to flag this and kick it back to you. And the merry-go-round of submittal begins again. What we're going to do to get this into the hands of our GCs or our subs or our vendors is we're just going to click two buttons. We'll click Download here, and we're going to hit Download Overview here. What that does, it downloads the data to two distinct places. This is the first place. This is just an Excel format. Essentially, it's just a recreation of the data from BuildSync, telling us that there's 14 products in here. There are 5 failures. There are 8 unknowns and 71 passes. And these tabs along the bottom here, these just represent the individual products that made up the submittal. So what we can now do is we can see that, for example, this characteristic has failed. Well, let's say we wanted our sub or our vendor or even our design team, GC, whoever it is, to actually get eyes on that submittal and see where the issue is. By hitting download at the submittal level, we can now see the original copy of the submittal. And again, it is marked up with where BuildSync found the failure. So BuildSync is stating here that the luminaire schedule is saying the color needs to be 3500K for BL1-8. Well, the chosen color was 3000. So BuildSync's just helping us getting ahead of that problem. So that is BuildSync in a nutshell. Should you have any questions or want to try it for free yourself, just let us know. Cheers.